not this one.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Assessment Appeals Hearing Board for April 20th, 2015. The time is 9:30. Clerk, could you please call roll?
Board Member Ferris.
Present.
Board Member Crow.
Present.
Board Member Curtis.
Present. Okay. Now, if everybody could stand, we're going to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you intend to give testimony, please remain standing to be read your oath today.
Thank you. Everyone addressing the board this morning needs to be standing. Thank you. Please raise your right arm. I will now read you your oath. When I complete reading your oath, please state I do. You solemnly affirm that the testimony you're about to give in the matters now pending before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you.
Thanks, Brendan. Okay. So it looks like we'll go through an agenda review. These are items that will be taken care of relatively quickly here. Thank you.
The clerk of the board requests approval of the agenda review. The agenda review consists of the following agenda items. Item number 10, application number 14-10533. Applicant Timothy Hanshaw. Approved stipulation for continuance to August 3rd, 2015. Item numbers 11 and 12, application number 14-10536 and 14-10537. Applicant Mokhtar Makal. Denied due to lack of appearance. Item number 13, application number 14-10632. Applicant is the Amir M. and Jean A. Sharankai Trust and Jean A. Welsh, removed from the agenda due to submission of a withdrawal. Item number 28, application number 14-10740. Applicant Joan Brody, denied due to lack of appearance. Item number 30, application number 14-10755. Applicant Albert Romano, denied due to lack of appearance. Item number 31, application number 14-10761. Applicant Bharti Solatani, denied due to lack of appearance. Item number 33, application number 14-10774. Applicant Glenn Hafer, continued to May 18th, 2015, pending receipt of original stipulation. Item number 34, application number 14-10780. Applicant Terrence Moran, denied due to lack of appearance. Item number 35, application number 14-10781. Applicant Andrea Stanton, removed from agenda due to submission of a withdrawal. Item number 36, application number 14-10782. Applicant Helena Wu, continued to May 18th, 2015, pending receipt of original stipulation. Item number 37, application number 14-10784. Applicant Tristan White, denied due to lack of appearance. Item number 38, application number 14-10785. Applicant Kenneth Jossing, denied due to lack of appearance. Item number 40, application number 14-10809. Applicant Charles E. and Jana M. Rowland, trustees, denied due to lack of appearance. Item number 42, application number 14-10850. Applicant Laura Elkins, denied due to lack of appearance. Item number 43, application number 14-10904. Applicant Brad Wilson, denied due to lack of appearance. Item number 44, application number 14-10908. Applicant Pauline, denied due to lack of appearance. Item number 45, application number 14-10910. Applicant Yvonne Johnson, denied due to lack of appearance. Item number 47, application number 14-10919. Applicant Promise Properties Incorporated, continue to May 18th, 2015, pending receipt of original stipulation. Item number 48, application number 14-10925, applicant James Baega, denied due to lack of appearance. Item number 49, application number 14-10927, applicant Sin Chan, denied due to lack of appearance. Item number 50, application number 14-10928, applicant Winnie Zen, denied due to lack of appearance. Item number 51, application number 14-10952, applicant Andrew Brody, denied due to lack of appearance. Item number 54, application number 14-10982, applicant Janet Gao, continue to May 18th, 2015, pending receipt of original stipulation. Item 56, application number 14-10988, applicant Amber Flanagan, denied due to lack of appearance. That completes the agenda review.
All right. Thank you, Brendan. Did anybody hear their name called during that little session? No one? Okay. Any questions from the board? Oh, I'm sorry. You got somebody. Come on up.
He was not on the agenda review.
Oh, okay. All right, just hang on. Any questions from the board? Okay. So it looks like we're looking for a motion to accept the agenda review and the clerk's recommendation as proposed.
So moved.
I'll second that motion.
All right, so that was moved by Ms. Ferris and seconded by Mr. Crow. That motion passes. So we'll go on the regular agenda here. Looks like the first item on the agenda is items 6 through 7. Applications 1311128 and application 1410870. Mr. Azamir. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome back. And can you state your name for the record, please?
Sean Azarmer, A-Z-A-R-M-E-H-R.
Hello, welcome again.
Thank you kindly.
And let's see, to the assessor, any comments regarding this item?
Yes, on February 23rd, the board requested that the applicant provide information to the assessor no later than March 21st of 2015. We have not received that information, so we are requesting a subpoena from the board.
Okay. And that would, any comments from the applicant?
I believe that I have provided the information. I have received the demand for production of documents from the assessor, and I have responded to that demand for production of documents. I have evidence of that, which I can present to you if this is the appropriate time. Or I can receive the subpoena, which I would prefer to do that at this time.
Okay. Any other comments from the assessor or council?
Has a subpoena been provided to the chair by the assessor's office?
The clerk has one if the board wants to get into that now, if they want to. Do you want to look at it now?
I had a discussion with the gentleman. I'm sorry, I'm not very good at who the positions are.
To the assessors.
To the assessor, yes. I had a discussion with them. So I understand that he has prepared a subpoena and he wishes to serve me with a subpoena.
Okay.
Today. So
So it looks like we should probably take a look at it.
Here's two originals. You guys can just.
Has council looked at this yet? or no?
Council, yeah, I haven't looked at it.
And to the assessor, do you have a brief breakdown of, so did you get the stuff from the applicant and that's just not enough, or?
Kent Meyer, Ventura County Assessor's Office. Sorry, I didn't say my name earlier.
Sure.
I have not seen any information supplied by Mr. Azamir.
Nothing.
Mr. Denham, have you seen anything? We did receive a fax from him back in 2014 stating that he was the occupant of the property in question. However, I want to see some documentation proving that. That's the nature of these the subpoena also.
Okay. Any comments from the applicant?
I will respond to the subpoena once I see it. I don't know what the subpoena says, Mr. Curtis.
Sure. Okay.
I'm going to share one copy with him.
Sure.
There's also a
Brendan? So it looks like that information is what is necessary for the assessor.
I'm trying to. Wow. I will definitely need additional time to respond to this because there's a request for IRS tax returns. Relevance also, I'm trying to figure out by what authority the assessor is requesting this and whether they're entitled to my tax returns. I need to. I mean, this is, I think, based on my preliminary looking at this, it seems like this is crazy that they'd be asking for this stuff.
Okay. Okay, so it seems like the assessor does need some information, more information from you, and maybe it looks like you need to review the subpoena. Any comment from counsel regarding us?
Having briefly reviewed the subpoena, the rationale given was to confirm whether or not the address in question was your primary residence and whether or not you're receiving any rental income. Question for the assessor, would the entirety of the tax return be relevant and necessary for those two limited inquiries, or is the assessor's office seeking those portion of the tax returns that pertain to those questions at issue?
Those portions of the tax returns would be sufficient.
Okay.
Could the subpoena be clarified to specify exactly what it is that is required? Because at first glance, I would think that they would not have any authority to request for my entire tax returns for the purpose of evaluating the value of the property. So, if you wish, I'll accept the subpoena as is, and then I'll just object to it and not respond to it based on legal authority.
Perhaps the assessor's office could narrow the subpoena to request those portions of the tax returns that are relevant for the goals of the assessor's office, which would then narrow the burden on the taxpayer, and then he can decide if he's going to object, not comply, or whatever. But at least you've narrowed it to what you're really seeking and not seeking more than you need.
Does the board have the authority to change that subpoena and modify
The
it?
clerk was going to interject that this is not the assessor's subpoena, it's the board's subpoena that the assessor is requesting. So whatever the board wishes to subpoena is what we will make the request to. And the clerk believes whatever's in the subpoena the applicant needs to comply with, or they will not meet the burden of production. So if something can't be produced, it needs to be clarified at this point.
Also, if I may.
Please.
Number 3 says comparable sales data relevant to the value of the subject property. So if I request for my application to be considered as owner-occupied, then the burden of proof shifts to the assessor. By this subpoena, the assessor is circumventing this process. Just because they're the assessor and they're requesting it doesn't mean they're entitled to it. The procedure has certain burdens and certain... I mean, this, the assessor here is... I had a meeting with Mr. Dan Goodwin, the assessor himself, and the subject of the meeting was that I feel like I'm being assessed personally on the basis of my ethnic origin, my race, my religion, and not my property. And I think the focus of this should be, what is the value of the property? And the assessor should be able to figure that out.
Okay. Well, it does seem like you need to have a little bit more communication with the assessor. I think maybe what we should do is go ahead and approve the subpoena as it stands. I think, to me, it sounds like you understand that the assessor needs a certain amount of information, and it sounds like you're only going to be giving them a certain amount of information.
Well, I don't want to be
Mr. Curtis.
I don't want to be in contempt of your subpoena. I want to be responsive to your subpoena. I want to be transparent to your subpoena. And if you wish to issue a subpoena, I think with the advice of Ms. Portia, maybe you can issue a subpoena that you feel is reasonable. But just because the assessor has presented you with a proposed subpoena that is exceeds their authority and is not relevant, then once you issue it, then I'm obligated to you to respond.
Any comments from the assessor?
Yes. First off, burden of production. This is not a single-family residence, whether he's occupying or not. As far as burden of proof is concerned, because it's not a single-family residence, he will have the burden of proof no matter what. Secondly, he was in a hearing several years ago, and at that time he was claiming that he was living in Malibu. Now he's claiming that he's living at this property. Therefore, I want the tax returns to verify where his primary residence is.
Okay. Comments from the council?
And one other statement I'd like to make.
Sorry.
In absence of subpoena, the board does have the authority to rule or deny this application under production or lack thereof right now.
Okay.
It would be council's suggestion to the board that the subpoena be narrowed to request only those portions of the tax returns that have any bearing on the issue of whether or not the property location is Mr. Azimir's primary residence and whether or not he's receiving rental income for the property.
I think I can actually, to minimize this
Conversation.
I'm sorry. Please go ahead. I just think that once you see the facts, you will see that this demand is moot, silly. But I have to allow the assessor to further drag me through the dirt if that's necessary.
In light of the assessor's concession that I needed those portion of the tax returns that related to those two issues, I think it would be legally prudent for the board to narrow the subpoena to request only those portions of the tax returns that have a bearing on whether or not the address is his primary residence and whether or not he's receiving rental income. That would be council's suggestion to the board.
How about number 3 and number 4? What about those items?
I don't have the subpoena. May I borrow the subpoena back from you?
So Schedule E, Schedule 1040, Schedule E's.
I'm going to come in at another different date if you wish to review the subpoena, and then we can have a discussion as to what the subpoena should be so that you'd have more time to draft it as you wish.
It's at the board's authority and discretion to determine what should be on the subpoena.
The assessor's office had forwarded to council within the last month a Board of Equalization opinion letter that dealt with a 441D demand. And I believe the date of that opinion letter, it was to a private assessee in another county, was March 24th, 2015. That opinion letter from the BOE did opine that the assessor, through the 441D mechanism, could request comparable sales information. I don't have the specific opinion letter with me, but in light of the BOE's opinion that it published to a taxpayer that it was within the ambit of the assessor's ability under 441D to request comparable sales information, it would be council's legal opinion at this point that items 3 and 4 would be a permissible subject of the subpoena. And Mr. Azimir, with that in mind, it would also be council's opinion that if Mr. Azimir came to the board and requested a subpoena for the comparable exchange of information that the assessor could have, that you would similarly be entitled to the subpoenaed production of similar information as 3 and 4. So my
May I
opinion...
present that then? I will request the comparable Also, I would like to further pursue a settlement offer, 2 settlement offers that the assessor made to me. I discussed it with the assessor's office today, and they said that those settlement offers were no longer available. But the advice of counsel told me that it's strange that they're not available because the evaluation hasn't changed. And if they feel that the numbers they produced in the past were not accurate, or the comps they produced in the past were not accurate, then maybe they have no idea what the property is worth to begin with. So in pursuing, so once we have time to respond to this subpoena, I'd like to continue to pursue the settlement option with the assessor to see what their response is. But in the event that this settlement request or reaching out to them to settle it doesn't work out, then I'd like to request subpoena Mr. Travis Ekema, which is one of the people that I was dealing with, and Mr. Christopher Horn. So these are 2 people from the assessor's office. Each individually made assessments of my property. Each individually presented me with comps on my property that suggested that my property was worth less than what I'm being assessed for. So I'd like to bring them in and have an opportunity to cross-examine them, and when I present their comps to the board, since they are the people who did that analysis, to be able to examine them.
The board will deal with the subpoenas as they actually get presented to the board. At this point, we're dealing with the assessor's subpoena, and I've offered my legal advice to the board. It's the board's decision what it wishes to do with that advice. We'll act on this subpoena, and then as other subpoenas get presented, the board will certainly take them up and deal with them one at a time.
So do I have to show up to another hearing to present a subpoena to the board?
If you don't have a subpoena drafted with you today, yes, you'll need to do that.
Wow. Okay.
So any comments from the board?
Are we looking at specifying what schedules you want from the records?
Perhaps I can offer, if you can pass the subpoena back.
Such as 1040s, Schedule E's, everything regarding to do with...
Okay. On line 1, it says IRS tax returns 2013. I would suggest that the board introduce a parenthetical, open paren, as directly relevant to primary residence address and receipt of rental income, and then close a paren. And I would request, or I would suggest to the board, the same parenthetical on the line number 2 dealing with the 2014 tax returns. That would be sort of an amendment of the subpoena as presented. That would be my practical suggestion to the board.
So his Schedule
If the
E's,
board wishes to
1040
do that.
Schedule E's, basically.
And to the clerk, how would we go about doing this amendment? If so, approved.
The board just needs to let the clerk know what they want, and I'll get a revised documents drafted for you to sign later in the day. So
Okay.
the board just can verbalize what exactly they're requesting when they make their motion, and we'll fix the paperwork.
Okay, so any comments from the board regarding what we've been talking about? Are we on board? Is the board on board?
Yeah, I think county council's suggestion is pertinent. That basically that's the only information that really is relevant, that where you're living in that property or not. The other issue you're talking about, comparison sales, if you're going to defend your value, you're going to have to present some evidence to the board that the assessor's value is incorrect. So you have to basically make a case. So you would need to provide that information. You can, and then share it with the assessor, or if you want to wait until a hearing, then present that case. But I would, I guess, make a motion to agree with the council's recommendation as far as amending the subpoena.
Okay. Any comments from Ms. Ferris?
No, I just didn't know if you wanted to verify what schedules you wanted, that dealt with the real estate.
Unfortunately, I don't know the IRS schedules that specifically pertain by number to the
It's 1040.
address of residence or the receipt of rental income, but I think if we put
Schedule E.
a parenthetical as directly related, then Mr. Azimir can ascertain that himself and produce accordingly.
Okay.
So is that, in essence, a second for Mr. Crow's
Sure.
motion?
I'll second
Okay.
that.
So I think we are kind of limited here to the issue about the subpoena and if it will be amended or not. It sounds like the board is on board with amending the subpoena to what council has stated, and we'll go ahead and have our clerk amend the subpoena. So the motion was, I'm sorry?
With the board's permission, I can write it in right now, read it on the record.
Is that
Okay.
agreeable to the board?
Sure.
Okay. So the motion was made by Mr. Crow and seconded by Ms. Ferris. That motion passes.
So, Mr. Curtis, if I wish to make a motion to subpoena the presence of Mr. Travis Ekema and Mr. Christopher Horn at the next hearing,
I'm not sure. We're only up here to, at this point, either accept to the recommendation for the subpoena or not. Again, I think maybe if you were to have more and better communication with the assessor's department on all aspects of your case, that probably would be good. So, all right, and
So next we need to determine by which date the subpoena needs to be complied with, and then the cases will then also have to be continued, so the board can either determine that the cases are continued to a certain date and the subpoena needs to be complied with a certain amount of time before, or the board can continue and say that the subpoena needs to be complied with by that new date of hearing. That's up to the board.
okay, so we're looking for a date.
Of compliance.
Yes. So what would be an acceptable date to the clerk?
I guess we should see how long the applicant thinks they need to provide the evidence, and then probably a few weeks after that they comply.
30 days? Something like this? Or?
To the applicant?
I'd like to present my subpoenas also, and then have a hearing that we can actually have my subpoenas produced, and Travis Ekema and Christopher Horn here also, so that it'll be fruitful. Otherwise, if I just produce and then we come another time to... So if next hearing, what we're doing is I'm presenting you with my subpoenas. You see how this is going to be a very long process, versus if there's a way to expedite this, so that we exchange our subpoenas, make sure all the evidence is here, so that the trier of fact can see the truth of the matter.
I understand,
With all
but
due respect, Christopher Horn and Travis Ekema are both employees of the assessor's office.
Right.
If we have a hearing, we will make sure they're here.
So
there's no necessity to
we're
subpoena
stipulating
them.
to that both of them will be here at the next hearing? Or at whatever that's going to be, because next hearing may be the hearing that I'm going to present the subpoenas to get them here, or I guess you're going to just stipulate, except, can we
There's no
stipulate that they're
reason
going to be
to-
here, so stipulation is not...
The assessor's office is required to be here at every hearing. Therefore, there's no reason to subpoena any of the individual employees of the assessor's office.
Well, these are the employees that discussed the evaluation with me. They are the ones that found the properties that were the comps. So if your office comped it for $380,000 and you guys are charging me $600,000, first I'd like to evaluate those comps that your office presented to me and use those comps to support my position. Since you are the one that produced those comps. It's like if I went, it'll be, you see what I'm saying? They're your comps. They're your work product. So I need to examine the person who came up with those comps and came up with that analysis.
The board's clear on the position, I'm sure.
I think,
Mr. Curtis,
Yes.
if I may interject a little bit. There is a rule, property tax rule 322, that governs the subpoenas, and it says if a party desires the board to issue a subpoena, and I'm reading from subsection E, the party shall make a written request sufficiently in advance of the scheduled hearing date so that the subpoena party has an adequate opportunity to fully comply with the subpoena prior to the commencement of the hearing. And then it goes on to say, subpoenas shall be restricted to compelling the appearance of a person or the production of things at the hearing and shall not be utilized for purposes of pre-hearing discovery. So, Mr. Azumir, in terms of this process unfolding, the board will need to set a hearing date sufficiently out where you will, if the board, has approved the subpoena, you will be required to produce the documents, describe the subpoena
Right.
at that hearing date. If you have an intention to request that the board issue subpoenas in advance of the hearing date,
Yes.
then they'll need to be, you'll need to appear prior to that hearing date to request a subpoena of the board, and reasonably in advance of that hearing date, so
Could you give me that
the
code section
assessor's
again?
office would have the
Yes,
ability.
Can I have that code section again?
It's property tax rule 322.
322. Okay, then I object to the board receiving this subpoena today, because this subpoena today is being presented at the hearing and has not been submitted sufficiently in advance, so has not complied with this rule 322.
This subpoena is
Mr.
being requested because you have not provided us with the data that we requested and as ordered by the board.
Mr.
My
Azumir?
position is that I have responded to your demand for production of documents. You can tell me the date of your production of documents, and I'll see if I have responded to that one.
Mr. Azumir,
You
I
want the
believe
history?
you misunderstood. The subpoena can only call for production of documents or the appearance of a witness at a hearing.
Yes.
But the subpoena can be requested in advance of a hearing. I was letting you know that if you were going to come forward with your own requests for witnesses to appear at a hearing or documents to be produced, that you wouldn't be able to request them at the very hearing where we scheduled to have the proceedings take place. You'd have to come in advance. So I'm just letting you know that there is no technical defect here, that the assessor's office has requested it today for hearing in the future. The board will set a deadline for the production of documents, and that will have to actually be the hearing date. There's not a pre-hearing discovery allowed under the rules. The parties can subpoena things for a hearing. And I was just letting you know, because if you have the intention to come forward with subpoenas, you'll need to come in on another hearing date in advance of the scheduled hearing date to request whatever subpoena of the board.
So then I need to know the times that the board is going to convene prior. Well, we have to set a hearing date. Then in the future, then I'm going to need to know the times that the board is going to convene. So that
Sure, you can check with the clerk on that. Let's go ahead and set the hearing date for the subpoena to the clerk.
Let's see.
And to Dr. Kaiser, did you have a comment?
Yes, Dr. Kaiser, Chief Deputy Assessor. Thank you, Board. I would just say we could make our staff present at any meeting that they requested to meet. I would only say some are on family leave of absence, depending on their schedules and things of that sort. So we're happy to work with the Board on that. The second thing is it's a standing policy of the Assessor's Office not to discriminate against anybody in the valuation process, whether it's for race, nationality, creed, or anything. So we are firm on that policy, and we adhere to it.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Curtis, since we have a kind of like a advertisement for the Ventura County Assessor's Office, I would like to add something in response to that. I was here on a different property that I have. They assessed me 3 times what I paid for that property. During that process, the Assessor's Office caused the fire department to come onto my property. They forced me to find all kinds of violations. The code enforcement came onto my property. They had a company come onto my property, break into my buildings, take samples, do all kinds of stuff. I wrote them, they initially had made some kind of a agreements for us to meet at the property so they can walk through the property. Instead, they had some kind of environmental company scheduled to come to look at my property. I had, if you recall, a oil tank underground, and so when I heard that, I said, no, you can't go onto my property. Our agreement was you can come for the purpose of walking through my property, not having an environmental company come and do analysis. If you're having an environmental company come and doing analysis on my property, I need to know who they are and what the nature of their analysis is going to be. I had that in writing. So the assessor's office the next day came, raided my property, no anything. They just broke into my property, went into my buildings, took samples from my tank. So just like the revenue agents and the English. So I don't think that everything they do is the way it's supposed to be.
Okay,
Mr.
so
Asmer,
noted.
Did you happen to file charges with the police department for breaking and entering? Alleged breaking and
I
entering?
just think we need.
I have it documented in writing. Would you like me to present that to
Did you press charges?
Should I have?
isn't related to today's
Mr. Asmer, we
It
have
doesn't make what you guys did right. I didn't.
Mr. Asmer.
It wasn't worth my time.
we have a whole bunch of other people waiting here. I'd like to do what we can as the board. So right now I understand. Sounds like you're frustrated with the assessor's department. And again, if you have a good line of communication between them, I think that might help out. Anyway, let's go ahead and set up a hearing date for the subpoena. So Brendan?
Okay, we have June 9th, July 13th, or August 3rd available at this time.
And to the applicant?
One moment. I'm sorry, sir. I have to ask a silly question. Does anyone know when schools get out?
Depends on the school.
What month, more or less?
Usually early in June.
Yeah.
And the dates were.
We have available June 8th, July 13th, and August 3rd.
It has to be after August because I'm going to be out of the country for the summer when my kid gets out of school. I have a different job, so I usually, when I can go, I go. So I'll be out of the country for the summer during the school time. So it's got to be right after when school starts again. So when does school start again? I'm sorry, I don't have the school schedule in front of me.
Probably in August? August?
We don't have any hearings scheduled for September, and our October hearings are contingent. We don't plan on necessarily scheduling anything at this time for those dates. And also, the two-year time period is about to expire for these, so the clerk would object to going more than 90 days from current time for rescheduling. So we do not want to schedule this for any date other than what we've already presented.
June 7th, the kids are still in school. How about June 7th, June 8th, right?
I'm not available in June on June 8th. And July and August, I'm concerned that I'll be out of the country. We've already bought the tickets, and I have to go for my work. So every year we go in the summertime and in the wintertime because those are the times that we can go.
Would 30 days be enough for you to present present the records that have been requested?
No, I need more time, but I'd like to do it the first hearing after schools come back. Is it possible that I communicate with you? I can probably go on the school's website. I can sit here and go on the school's website and tell you when the school starts again.
Under those circumstances, would it be appropriate for Mr. Asmer to execute a 2-year waiver
Yes,
today?
I'll be happy to execute the 2-year waiver.
All right, we can do that. I guess for the record, the clerk of the board still objects to scheduling that further than August. But we will provide a 2-year waiver. We could do October 5th then. We currently don't have anything scheduled for that date, but we can do October 5th if we have to.
That's acceptable. That's fine.
Okay. October 5th. Any comments on that? Council, assessor?
Is there a time period of when he has to produce the documents to the assessor?
I'm assuming that would be
Prior to-
30 days
No,
prior.
as council stated, a subpoena requires the documents to be produced on the scheduled day of hearing, so they would not be able to present them sooner. They must present them on October 5th. And if they do not, they could be denied for burden of production.
Okay. Is that clear to the applicant?
It is.
Okay. So it looks like we're looking for motion to set the hearing date for this subpoena and the burden of production of the applicant's information to October 5th.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, that was moved by Mr. Crow and seconded by Ms. Ferris. Thank you very much and enjoy your summer.
Thank you kindly.
All right. So that moves us to our next item, which is item number 8, application 1410290, Peter Heines.
Yes, this was.
I'm sorry. Yes. Thank you very. Yes, you are. Have a nice day.
We will mail you the subpoenas in writing because we don't have them prepared at this time. Back to item 8. This was originally scheduled for hearing on March 23rd. The applicant sent in a preliminary copy of their stipulation. The board's policy requires the original be submitted. If an original is not received, then the assessor's office has to make 3 attempts to obtain the original within 30 days. The original has not been received, so the clerk of the board is recommending that the board review and approve the fact stipulation. The clerk of the board has presented these stipulations to the board this morning.
Okay.
That was one we saw.
And that
That's the
was.
additional.
This is for Peter Heines.
Yes, the 2 that he gave us earlier.
You guys saw these? Did you sign it? Okay. It looks like the board and council have reviewed them. Any comments from the board or council? All right. Looks like we're looking for a motion to just approve the fax copy. Is that what?
Correct.
Fax copy for this item.
So moved.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, and that was moved by Ms. Ferris and seconded by Mr. Crow. That motion passes. Next on the agenda is item number 9, application 1410383.
6-3.
LEPEY Hanson Family Trust.
Yes, this is a similar situation. The item was scheduled for hearing on March 23rd. We only had a copy of the stipulation. It was continued for 30 days so that the original could be obtained. No original has been received, so the clerk of the board is recommending approval of the facsimile stipulation.
All right. Looks like council and the board has reviewed that stipulation, and we're looking for a motion to approve the fax copy.
So moved.
I'll second that motion.
So that was moved by Ms. Ferris and seconded by Mr. Crow. So that item passes. Next on the agenda is items 14 through 21, applications 1410645 through 1410652, South Street Center, LLC. Good morning.
Morning.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
Chris Tucker, agent for the applicant.
Good morning, Mr. Tucker.
We are requesting a continuance on these. We recently gave information to the assessor, and we want them ample time to review the information.
Okay. To the assessor?
I wasn't aware of the information being provided. When did you Sorry, I apologize. I'm not aware that the information was provided. When did you provide the information?
Probably around a week ago. Melinda
A week ago?
Pauline.
Okay. The assessor is not prepared to move forward because we had not received the data in a timely fashion. One comment on item, we're just dealing with 14 through 21 right now?
Yes.
Okay. So
We would
looking
like to recommend a continuance to August 3rd.
August 3rd to the applicant. Does that date work for you?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So looking for a motion to continue these items to August 3rd.
So moved.
I'll second that motion.
So that was moved by Ms. Ferris and seconded by Mr. Crow. The motion passes. Looks like you are also part of items 22 through 27, which are applications 1, 1410653 through 1410658, which is the Moore Park Center LLC.
I informed the assessor's office that I would withdraw at the board today, so I would like to withdraw items 22 through 27.
Okay. To the assessor, any comment?
No comments.
Okay. So withdraws there is no action needed to be done by the board, I believe. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All righty. Next on the agenda is item number 29, application 1410746, Bina Moody. Come on up. Good morning, and can you state your name for the record, please?
Bina Modi.
Very nice. Are you prepared to move ahead today?
Yes, I'm in talking with Mr. Denham, and we're continuing our conversation, but I do have some documents to support my appeal.
If we could, the assessor's office would like to recommend trailing this case. We had already sent out a stipulation, and she has further information, and I think we might work something out in the next few minutes, and we would like that opportunity to maybe solve this without your
Lovely.
joining us. Yes.
Great. So it sounds like there's some communication going on, so we'll trail this case and we'll hear it. We'll come back to it in a little bit later.
Oh.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Enjoy.
So if I don't accept it, I should
The board's
still
gonna-
come back today?
Yeah,
or-
I'll tell you what to do.
Yeah.
I'll
The-
watch out for you.
Rick's a nice guy.
Yes, please don't leave today without addressing the board again. They have not made a decision on your
Yeah.
case.
Just come back in the room. So next on the agenda is item 32, application 1410762, George McNee.
Yeah, I received an email message from this applicant late last night. Apparently their wife has severe medical issues and their caretaker was not able to come in this morning so that the applicant could appear at the hearing. So the clerk of the board is recommending a continuance due to medical circumstances to July 13th, 2015. I spoke with the applicant this morning, and they are they believe they'll be able to appear on July 13th, 2015.
Okay, any comments from the board or council? So it looks like we're looking for a motion to continue this until July 13th.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. That was moved by Mr. Crow and seconded by Ms. Ferris, and that motion passes. Next on the agenda is item number 39. George and Holbert Susanna Smith. Good morning.
How you doing, sir?
Good. Can you state your name for the record, please?
My name is George Smith.
Good morning. Are you prepared to move ahead today?
I would hope so, yes.
Oh, lovely. And how long do you think your case may take? Presentation?
10 minutes?
Okay. And to the assessor's department?
We're not prepared to move forward on this case today. We have not had any communications with the applicant. There have
Yes,
been
you
a couple
have.
of pardon?
Yes, you have.
Okay. I was not aware of the communications.
Excuse me, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. So we're not prepared to move forward at this time. So I'd like
Okay.
to continue pending further conversations with the applicant. Richard Denham is out in the atrium right now.
Right.
This gentleman that was standing here a moment ago.
Yes, I have
Okay.
had conversations with him before. I have put it up. He has said, "Well, come on in, and we'll talk about it." Here I am.
Okay.
I took my day off of work. I'm just a homeowner. I'm busy saying that my taxes jumped tremendously, and I'm saying that should not have happened.
Okay.
And so I'm here, and I'm willing to talk to you or Mr. Denham, or I will talk to him in the same manner as you were with Ms. Mundy. But I
Sure,
really can't continue to just show
Sure.
up.
No, I understand.
I'm just like you. I'm only a taxpayer worker, and I don't make soup money.
Sure.
So that's what I'm after.
Mr. Crow?
Was
So-
your previous assessment
My
under
previous
Proposition 8?
my previous assessment has gone up because my property was bought 2004, bubbled, and you have continued to raise my Prop 13. So I bought it it was the lowest price that I could find at that time, and which was $500,000 in the area. You have raised it Prop 13 annually. So now you have it up to $560,000. At which time the bubble and everything else are around, and you did amend my tax schedule. I think it was to 2010, and it lowered to what it is. Right now you have then jumped it up and jumped it up, and I have been saying that this is not a fair taxation.
Sure. So what the board is here to do is to hear cases. You're ready. The board, the assessor isn't.
I gotcha.
Each side has one chance to say that they're not ready, so the assessor isn't. So we're going to have to schedule a time for a continuance. What would be a convenient continuance?
How about if Rick talks to me too?
Yes.
And we'll talk about it there.
That'll be after we set the hearing.
Yeah, let's set a hearing date. You can talk to Rick today, and I would suggest talk to him between now and the date that we'll set the hearing date to. So, to the clerk, what would be?
Before we reschedule, the clerk wants to clarify something. Attached to the applicant's application is their value notice for the 2014 value. The board does not have this. Sorry, it's just in my computer system. Now, the applicant said that their value was at $568,000-ish. I show their Proposition 13 value by this value notice that the applicant provided is $568,541. But their 2014 taxable value is $440,000. I just wanted to clarify, this application has only addressed the January 1st, 2014 value of $440,000.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay, I use, as I said, the Prop 13, which has been in increasing a continual base, which no 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom house in Oakview is worth that in my neighborhood.
Sir,
so we know that.
And what year did you purchase the property?
2004, November.
2004. Okay, so your Prop 13 value would not be eligible to be reheard. So the only thing is you believe that your property is worth less than $440,000.
I believe.
In January.
I know my property.
Okay, that's all I wanted to clarify and make sure we were talking about the right thing.
Okay, so it looks like we're looking for a continuation date.
That's fine.
So again, talk to Rick today. Talk to Rick between now and the continuation date. Hang on to all your information, and if you don't come to a resolution with the Rick and the Assessor's Department, we'll be seeing you back on what date?
August 3rd.
July 13th.
How busy is August 3rd?
It's not too busy yet. That's just a long way out. But if that's what you want to do,
What about July?
let's see.
I'm sorry, July 13th. That's a busy one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you build them up as you go.
Yeah. The dates I have recommended for continuances from today are June 22nd or July 13th. But if those don't work for the assessor, then we can do August 3rd.
Let's go with June 22nd. Get it resolved as soon as possible.
Is June 22nd convenient for the applicant?
I will make that fine.
I'm sorry that you have to come back, but we'll set it for June 22nd. So looking for a motion to continue to that date.
So moved.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, and that was moved by Ms. Ferris and seconded by Mr. Crow. So, but by all means, talk to Mr. Denham today.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is
41.
application 41, item 41, application 1410835, Barbara Russell.
No one has checked in for this item this morning, and no one new has appeared, so the clerk of the board would recommend denial due to lack of appearance.
Is there a Barbara Russell in attendance today? Doesn't look like there is. So I'm looking for a motion to deny due to lack of appearance.
So moved.
I'll second that motion.
All right, and that was moved by Ms. Ferris and seconded by Mr. Crow, and that motion passes. Moving swiftly to item number 46, application 1410916, Warren, last name Gilliland.
This item, there was a memo and a stipulation emailed to the board last week, and I'll let the assessor's office explain this one. This is the one we have to.
Yeah, on this one, the memo that I sent out, basically there was a human error. We had a preliminary stipulation on file, and I had missed that in my notes when we came to hearing. So we had the preliminary. We would have requested a continuance pending the original.
All right.
I believe we've received the original since then.
I've given the original to the board, so they can approve it today. But first we need a motion to vacate the board's decision of April 6, 2015, to deny the application for lack of appearance.
To vacate.
Okay, so we're looking for a motion to vacate the denial due to lack of appearance, correct? On what date?
The April 6th decision to deny due to lack of appearance.
On April 6th.
So moved.
I'll second that motion.
So it was moved by Ms. Ferris and seconded by Mr. Crow. Motion passes. And our next motion,
All right, so I've given the original to the board. I don't think I gave it to council yet to review.
Council just reviewed it.
Okay, so the clerk would, since this applicant already got a notice that they were denied, we'd like to just get that fixed as soon as possible, and the clerk would recommend that the board approve the stipulation as presented.
So moved.
Just have to.
okay, so that motion was moved by Mr. Crow and seconded by Ms. Ferris, as stated by the clerk. Does that work, Brendan?
That is good, thank you.
All right. And it's all signed off. That moves us to application item number 52, application 1410959, Thomas Gianni. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good.
I'm easy.
Should have had you first, I think.
I didn't know this went like that.
Neither did I.
Okay, good.
So, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, can you state your name for the record, please?
Tom Gianelli.
Okay. And are you prepared to move ahead today?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The clerk would just state for the record that no confirmation of appearance was sent in, so the assessor's office was excused from preparing for hearing this morning.
We'll check with the assessor and see what they have to say.
Yes, we did not receive a confirmation of appearance, and therefore we have not prepared a case for this application.
Okay. So,
I misread the document. I didn't know I had to RSVP my
sure.
Yeah,
They didn't know, they didn't prepare a case, so we'll have to set a continuance date.
Sure.
So you can hang on to your information. And again, between now and that continuation date, you can talk to Mr. Denham or the assessor's department. But for right now, we'll set a continuation date. And if you don't come up with an agreement with the assessor's department, then you'll come back and we'll hear the case.
Okay, I can do that outside.
Yeah, but let's first, to the clerk, when would be a good continuation date?
I got June 22nd, July 13th, and August 3rd available.
Those sound familiar. What works for you?
22nd or July 13th, either.
Oh, all right. So June
Assessor.
22nd would be best.
22nd. All right, so we're looking for a motion to continue this item to June 22nd.
So moved.
I'll
And
second that
Mr.
motion.
Gianelli?
Yes, sir.
I've got Rick Denham's card here.
Oh, thank you
You
so
can
much.
contact him.
Thanks so much. So we'll see you back on June 22nd. Mr. Denham might be busy right now, so definitely if you can stay around, or if not, you can contact him in the next couple days.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is item 53, application 1410963. I'll spell it out, Virender, last name Jain. Good morning.
And the clerk of the board just state for the record, no confirmation of appearance was submitted for this item, so the assessor's office would be excused from preparing for hearing today.
Uh-oh, so we've run into the same situation. The assessor didn't know that you were coming, and they didn't prepare a case, I'm assuming. And even though you might be ready, we'll have to set a continuation date. And I'm sorry, can you state your name for the record, too?
Virender Jain.
Very nice. Would that be acceptable to continue?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And again, you can talk to Mr. Denham between now and that continuation date, and I'm assuming June 22nd to the clerk?
Whatever works for the parties. June 22nd, July 13th, or August 3rd.
Yeah, that's fine, June.
June 22nd?
Yeah. that's
All right. Sounds good. And is that acceptable to the assessor?
That's acceptable, and I have a business card from Mr. Denham that Mr. Jane can take and give him a call.
All right, so we're looking for a motion to continue this item to June 22nd.
So moved.
I'll second that motion.
So that was moved by Ms. Ferris and seconded by Mr. Crow. The motion passes. So if you don't come to an agreement with the assessor's department between now and June 22nd, we'll see you back here on June 22nd.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Leads us to item number 55, which is application 1410987, Robert KNAUSS.
No one has checked in for this item this morning. No one new has appeared in the hearing room, so the clerk of the board would recommend denial due to lack of appearance.
All right. Looking for a motion to deny due to lack of appearance.
So moved.
I'll second that motion.
That was moved by Ms. Ferris and seconded by Mr. Crow. That motion passes. That brings us back to item number 29, and that was Bina Moody, who we were trailing. And she's not in.
They're in the
Why don't
atrium at
we,
the moment. Could we do a 5-minute recess?
Sure.
Well, the clerk would recommend taking care of the hearing officer's decisions and the stipulations so that we don't sit around.
Okay.
So we would be on page 3 at item 57.
All right. So we don't sit around. We're looking for hearing officer's decisions. So we're looking for Mr. Crow will abstain since he was the hearing officer that day. So it looks like we're looking for a motion to accept.
To receive and file.
To receive and file the hearing officer's decisions.
So moved.
And I will second that motion. And so that motion passes. Quite a few there.
Had a busy day.
So now this takes us to the last page for stipulations at item number 50. Oh, no. Got too many pages on this agenda. Item 113.
Page 6.
All right, so we have a number of stipulations. Any comments from the board regarding our stipulations?
I reviewed the stipulation and motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Okay. So Mr. Crow motions to accept the stipulations as presented. Ms. Ferris seconds, and that motion passes. So it looks like Ms. Moody is in attendance. Again, welcome back. So nice. So we're back to item 26, application 1410746.
We would like to change the status of this case. We do have a stipulation, and however, it needs to be, approved by management. So, continuing stip would be appropriate, and we do have a signed stipulation, which we'll give the clerk of the board. I'll give him a copy and go from there.
All right.
In that case, the clerk would recommend continuance to May 18th, 2015, pending receipt of original stipulation.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
What date was that?
May 18th, we usually do the closest date to 30 days for stipulations.
Okay. Any comment from the applicant?
No,
Okay. So we're looking for a motion to continue pending stipulation to May 18th.
So moved.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. So that was moved by Ms. Ferris and seconded by Mr. Crow. That motion passes. That leads us to item number 151, public comments. Any public comments?
I think just 1 week continued for trail because of medical issue.
No, I think we approved that.
Right, no, the medical issue one was a continuance. They couldn't appear today, so.
We approved the continuance date. Okay, hearing no public comment, any board comment? Any comment from council? Nope.
I appreciate that the assessor's office sent me that BOE opinion request dated March 24th, 2015, and if there's ever in the future any other opinion requests or opinions that are issued that you think are helpful, just send them along. Thank you.
You're welcome.
When did you guys add a break and entry department?
We have no such department. I believe our appraiser went out there, and the fire department and some environmental company just happened to be there that day. And it was actually a commercial building that was open to the public.
Okay. Hearing no other comment, we are adjourned as of 10:35.